Hi, Stephanie.
Oh, hi.
Hi, what's happening?
Oh,
You turned your mute off, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, my God, look, John Fugelsang's here. Has he been jingled?
He's been jingled.
Yes.
Oh, okay, hi.
Yeah, the Catholic Church doesn't let us jingle ourselves, but it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Happy Impeachment Week 2, John. How are you enjoying
Oh, so much Vice. They impeached him twice. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. It's really been. I like that the only way to see Trump's tweets now is to watch them used against him in a trial. It just feels like God's on our side. Hi, Steph.
Hi. Yeah, you had a great tweet. You said, yes, I'm scared of thugs in MAGA hats trying to overthrow the U.S. election on the Capitol on January 6th, but I'm more scared of the thugs in suits trying to overthrow the U.S. election in the Capitol later in the day on January 6th. Thank you, John Fugelsang. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this is the country where we'll talk about giving Officer Goodman the Presidential Medal of Freedom for saving senators from mob violence, while also letting the guy whose lies caused the mob violence walk away clean. We see both sides of complex issues here in our Senate, you see.
Yeah. Travis has been saying there's been huddling going on around, Mitch McConnell, and I don't know what's going to happen. They're trying to find, I think, some sort of, half cowardly, half whatever way out of this, right? Where it's actually Democrats that vote that he can't be, I don't even know what that's called.
Got it. It's right
that
there
he can't run again.
If Mitch McConnell wants Trump to stop messing with his party, Mitch McConnell gets 16 Republican senators to come along with him and vote to convict. But then it only takes the Democrats to bar him from office. So they can split the difference and say, well, we thought what he did was wrong, but we didn't say he shouldn't be allowed to run again. That's there's two votes that have to happen, and the Republicans can weasel out of the second one.
And by the way, they're gonna lose his base anyway. They're gonna turn on them anyway. I mean, it's just, but it's glorious because they deserve it. This is,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I always said: is they won't do it because it's the right thing to do. They'll do it because there's something in it for them. Like you said, to get Trump out of their, excise the cancer from their party.
The GOP, my entire life, from before I was born, the party is selfishness masquerading as virtue. That's what John Kenneth Galbraith said in the Wealth and Power speech in 1967. The modern conservative is engaged in mankind's oldest pursuit, trying to make selfishness appear a virtue. That's all they're doing. Nikki Haley is throwing Trump under the bus today. That's how bad she wants to be president. In the midst of it all, we at least have Donald Trump's defense team proving that there is a God and that God loves us and wants us to laugh. And that's why I'm so excited to bring back the David Show and Bruce Castor Show later on on
the Attorney General of Georgia, who is fantastic, who is obviously going after Trump for election fraud in Georgia. I mean, someone was like, wow, he better get a real attorney and he better pay them. Yeah. I mean, like, it's about to get really serious for Donald Trump. But today's just the beginning.
He's at least $500 million in debt. The lawsuits from Summers, Zervos, and our friend E. Jean Carroll are all moving forward. People don't realize it. Joe Biden doesn't have to do anything about Donald Trump. Karma and the justice system will be keeping him very busy for the rest of his life, no matter what happens. Meantime, Bruce Castor is being very well paid to do this to his reputation, except Bruce Castor actually thinks he's going to somehow get paid. So
he's definitely not paying these guys. Come on. Come on. Why? I mean, All right, Chris, could you take your organ out for my personal comedy Jesus?
Yes. Please, whip it out, Chris.
Well, John, you're right. This is a sign that God loves us, wants us to be happy, wants us comedians to work. We can still have nice things. We still have, hang on a second. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who calls herself a strong Christian conservative who plans to take her family values to Washington. It has just been reported that she cheated on her husband with a polyamorous tantric sex guru. And then after ending the affair with him, the mom of three moved on to a gym manager behind her husband's back.
Oh, no. So now you're saying I have to like her more? Okay.
Does the tantric sex guru, is that like, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you? I don't know.
No, I'm a tantric sex guru, which means I can watch her talk for 7 hours, but only years of training allows me to do this.
Craig Ivey is the tantric sex practitioner, said, I will not respond to anything about this, while the other man, the gym manager, Justin Tway said, I have no interest in talking about anything to do with that woman. Everything with her comes to no good.
Oh, that ended badly.
One man who worked closely with Marjorie Taylor Greene said it wasn't a secret. Everyone who moved in her circles knew about both the affairs. In response to Daily Mail's question request for comment, Taylor Greene called the story ridiculous tabloid garbage spread by an avowed communist and another attempt to smear my name because I'm the biggest threat to the Democrat socialist agenda.
No, Lady Blah Blah. You're the biggest fundraiser the Democratic Party has in 2021. Welcome to your new role of driving voter turnout.
And her attorney is Lynn Wood, who that is a porn name. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
You don't pick an attorney with a porn name if you want to say you're not having an affair. Okay. And someone else. Someone that owned the gym tweeted, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So when you worked for me at CrossFit in 2012, the extramarital affairs you had with Justin and Craig, those were Jesus approved, right? Oh, that's almost personal comedy Jesus worthy.
Well, unfortunately, we know the conservative Christian voters in America really take adultery seriously, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they? Yeah. That's the thing. If you want to be a Trump Christian, all it means is you want to criminalize abortion as a religion, and you identify as a follower of Jesus. Because the actual things Jesus talked about, as we've gone over thoroughly over the years, are what they vote against, and they keep on proving it. I mean, right now, what we're witnessing is just this final nail in the coffin of this lie that they've ever cared about morality. What is a conservative? You don't care about family values. You don't care about Christian values. You don't care about fiscal responsibility. And finally, they can stop claiming they ever cared about cops.
Well, Lindsey Graham was very, very, very focused when it was a BJ. I don't know why, but that was obviously a bigger threat to America.
Lindsey Graham has never changed. He's the same man he's always been, cravenly devoted to anything that will desperately get him votes or donations. He hasn't changed a bit. All they care about are themselves. That's the thing. That's the challenge for Democrats, is to convince these conservatives, what have they done since Nixon and the earned income tax credit for non-millionaires? Name one thing. Ask your racist loved ones. One thing they've done. They can't point to it. All they are good at is making the rich richer and convincing hardworking conservatives this is a good thing. In many ways, the Trump rally, I'm calling it QAnon Ghazi, by the way. Yeah. It's just like the Trump presidency. These idiots got together, made a lot of noise, and when they finally achieved what they wanted, they had no idea what to do with it. They're all the dog that caught the truck, whether it's Trump getting the White House or these douchebags getting into the Capitol. They don't know what to do with power because they've never actually thought about how to help another person.
Yeah, exactly. Let's skip to 21. Let's talk about Jamie Raskin for a minute. What an amazing human, what an amazing lawyer. This was like a constitutional law class wrapped in just, let's just listen to him for a minute.
We would have asked Mr. Trump himself if he had chosen to come and testify about his actions and inactions when we invited him last week. One, why did President Trump not tell his supporters to stop the attack on the Capitol as soon as he learned of it? Why did President Trump do nothing to stop the attack for at least 2 hours after the attack began? As our constitutional commander-in-chief, why did he do nothing to send help to our overwhelmed and besieged law enforcement officers for at least 2 hours on January 16th after the attack began? On January 6th, why did President Trump not at any point that day condemn the violent insurrection and the insurrectionists?
I feel like even though Trump's lawyers are clearly really bad, they just did such a brilliant case yesterday, John. I think just feel like they already addressed this free. We talked to Glenn Kirshner earlier. The free speech argument is so ridiculous. It does not apply to this in any way, shape, or form.
Doesn't matter. Since when do logic or facts or morality come into play here? They just need their line of BS they can all agree to, because they know, listen, they've proven that the First Amendment is not a defense, and they've also proven the fact that he's left office doesn't make it unconstitutional. In our founders' lifetimes, the majority of impeachment trials were for public officials who'd already left office. But they also know the Fox News OAN audience doesn't know this stuff.
Right.
So they can keep on pushing the medium lies.
Do you know
the people who vote for them will never know they're actually being lied to. And that's why, I just think, I hope Bruce Castor is grateful that Trump can't tweet about what he's doing as his defense lawyer, but it doesn't matter. They're like a boxer throwing the fight because they already know what the end game's going to be.
John, I mean, we all know the poison that Fox News is, but they cut away from this when they went to videotape. They cut away. They didn't. I mean, it's not just they don't want the Americans to have the facts. They just don't even want us to have a shared experience of what happened at the Capitol. When they started showing video, they cut away from it. It just didn't happen on Fox.
They cut away to talk to Steve Scalise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The founders thought that only rich white males should be allowed to vote. These events are related.
Yeah. One more, Jamie Raskin. Yes.
And I'll add a legal question that I hope his distinguished counsel will address. If a president did invite a violent insurrection against our government, as of course we allege and think we've proven in this case, but just in general, if a president incited a violent insurrection against our government, would that be a high crime and misdemeanor? Can we all agree at least on that?
I mean, okay. I don't, like I say, if not violent overthrow of the United States government, we might as well just take impeachment out of the Constitution entirely, right?
Can I just say how amazing is Jamie Raskin that after all the tragedy he's been through, he can stand there and deliver a joke like Trump's distinguished counsel. That was the funniest line of the day. And I thought, that's strength. That's grace. To be able to come up with lines like that. It was, look, they already know how it's gonna end unless Mitch McConnell, who is now along with with Joe Manchin, the most powerful man in America, decides that he doesn't want Trump messing with his party anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're going to come today, and today's going to be the racism day. Today's whataboutism day.
Yep.
Today is the day. You know what's coming today.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah. What about the Black Lives Matter protesters?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. His lies led directly to these people dying, and Black Lives Matter is going to pay for it today. Thank you, David Schoen. How dare you disenfranchise 74 million voters by not letting us disenfranchise 82 million voters?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
And they know the arguments are rubbish.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Give me one last Jamie Raskin to close, because
The only real question here is the factual one. Did we prove that Donald Trump, while President of the United States, incited a violent insurrection against the government? Incitement, of course, is an inherently fact-based and fact-intensive judgment, which is why we commend you all for your scrupulous attention to everything that took place. But we believe that we have shown you overwhelming evidence in this case that would convince anyone using their common sense that this was indeed incitement, meaning that Donald Trump's conduct encouraged violence, the violence was foreseeable, and he acted willfully in the actions that encouraged violence.
Yeah. John, you spoke about, obviously, his 25-year-old son took his own life. I mean, we're talking, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that he was able to do this.
Right before the office.
Yeah, I mean, one of the moments that got me, I don't know about you, all of it was so emotional, but when he talked about the two Capitol Police officers that took their own lives, and you saw him choke up, but I think that's the other thing that came out when we saw this horrible body cam footage and all of that. I don't think a lot of us realized how, and the fact that 140 were injured, lost an eye, fingers. Yeah. We realized how many hours of hand-to-hand combat and torture these guys went through. No wonder 2 of them took their own lives. It was, the guy called an N-word 15 times, then ended up crying and saying, "Is this America?" I mean, when you saw the actual abuse and name-calling they took, N-word and traitor and torture with flagpoles, and it just, I think I was not prepared. I don't know if you were, for the brutality of that, of the siege.
I'm so dazzled and impressed, and I wasn't expecting to be this impressed by the Democrats, but they keep doing it. And what they're doing brilliantly is that they're actually putting the Republican Senate on trial, and everyone knows it. They're putting the entire Republican Party ideology on trial here. They're saying, here's the dead cops, take your sides now. Is this acceptable? Because all they need to say, and I'm actually surprised they haven't said it more, if Trump hadn't lied, they wouldn't have died. That's it. Yeah. They're dead because of the big lie.
Yep.
And by the way,
including his supporters, including several of his supporters. Yeah.
Oh, they're all dead. Yeah. The woman who was shot by the Capitol policeman is dead.
Ashley Babbitt. Yep.
Donald Trump lied to her.
The woman that was trampled to death. How's that for a death? Trampled to death because the mob was so intent on killing cops. Yep. They trampled one of their own to death. I mean, it's just...
If Trump hadn't lied, they wouldn't have gotten on a Turning Point USA Charlie Kirk bus to take them there. The lie led to all the death, and I want to hear even more of that, because this is the first trial I've ever seen where the jury members are the witnesses, the victims, and in some cases, the accomplices.
And Glenn Kirshner just said that to us, John. Just said this is a murder trial. We have to remember this is a murder trial. And
it's the first trial in the crime scene that we've ever seen. I mean, there's a lot of firsts going on here. But really, this is 2022 as well. This is making these guys take sides right now. They have to choose the MAGA voting bloc for 2022 or my place in history books for all time. And I think we know how the Rand Pauls are going to come down on that.
Yeah. John, you are my personal comedy Jesus, but you know that already. I love you.
Leslie, come on to me.
Okay.
Come on to me.
Already have. No, been there, done that. What?
By the way, I'll say, Bruce Castor, in his opening, talked about how we don't need this because we had an election and the people chose a new president. Bruce Castor admitted that Trump was lying in his opening statement.
Yep.
And then his second thought was Trump should perhaps be arrested. So, he's getting what he's not paying for there.